What's up with squatters? Is this a real issue or just fear-mongering BS? Lately, I've been hearing my mom and my brother talk a lot about squatters. I regularly hear a horror story about how someone either went on vacation or went out to get a gallon of milk, come back home, and people are squatting there. They call the police to get them out and they end up getting arrested. I hadn't heard this anywhere. They do watch Fox News and read the New York Post. Is this yet another scare tactic they're using? I even heard a coworker mention it earlier. It sounds really out there, but I'm trying to keep an open mind about this. Answer: this is a stock outrage bait story that has existed for many decades, and fooled people for many decades. The formula is simply to take a landlord/tenant dispute and characterize it as a home invader stealing someone's house. If the news station has any reputation at all, they'll never use the word squatters' rights. Someone in the comments will always do that for them. They'll just say, "Look at this confusing situation." How would you feel if you went on vacation and brown people broke into your home and you couldn't get them to leave? Has society gone mad? They just edit out the part where the tenant has rented the space and has a certain amount of time to vacate. If you rent a property, your landlord can't just kick you out at a moment's notice. You have time stipulated in the mandated renter's agreement. Usually 1 or 2 months. Audiences are very protective of their homes and very paranoid about invaders. So the story hits like heroin into the veins of gullible rubes who are desperate to be outraged. People are easier to fool than to convince they've been fooled, so it's like shooting fish in a barrel. The story is especially popular among conservative local news stations. If they've already just done the "homeless people in your area are all secretly rich" story or the "idiot spills coffee on themselves and wins the lawsuit lottery" story, they can always easily do this story. They don't have to lie. They just have to let the landlord say whatever they want, and then edit what the tenant says in response, universally, editing out the part where the landlord says they're a landlord and editing out the part where the tenant points out that they are a tenant. The story makes people so mad. It's hilarious. People are idiots. The story is also useful because it never requires a follow-up. Local news stations can get stuck with a story like "rising satanic church in your area," or "giant caravan of immigrants is coming," or "government is coming to take away your toaster or stove," or whatever, because people want to monitor the situation. The fake squatter story never requires a follow-up because it's always just some random house that doesn't rise to the level of noteworthiness. Nobody ever has to learn the squatter's name. Actual, real-world squatters' rights usually take about 7 years to go into effect, and only apply to properties that the alleged owner has not paid property taxes on. It's most relevant for the era of homesteading and has absolutely nothing to do with what's going on in these shitty manufactured outrage bait videos on the internet.